For a little while, we've been teasing Kevin's big-time secret mystery number one free agent decision for the Dodgers, a guy they should sign. If you saw the thumbnail, it's not very hard to figure it out. But we're going to talk about that guy in a little bit. But first, a little bit of Dodgers news. And hey, we're back here on All Dodgers. Come hang out with us. Pull up a chair. Oh, the thing isn't there.
Push the button.
I did, but I apparently deleted the file. So, crack. Oh, look at here we are. Oh, my God. We made it. You guys, thanks for tubing in. Coming at you live from my home studio. Meh.
This is not a meh worthy thing.
That was absolutely meh. That was, usually, full disclosure, Jeff and I will kind of double check and make sure all the buttons and things are in the right place. But I cleaned up my computer this afternoon, and apparently the one thing I forgot I deleted was the intro file. But
never clean, people. Never clean.
Never clean. But
we put the meh in meh.
My name is Clint Pasillas. Find me as Real FRG on the social media. The guy to my screen right is Jeff Snider. Find him as Snydog on the social media. The guy to his right is Kevin Skinner. Find him as Skinner7 Kevin on the social media. All Dodgers is presented by FanDuel, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts. And enough of the mehs and the meh. Good to see people hanging out with us in the chat. It's been a little while since we've been live. Life. Jeff got a job, so congrats to him. We're proud of you. It's about time. But
yeah, it's I hate it. No, I love it. I do love it. But yeah, it has been it's been a lot the last few days, so appreciate everybody's patience, but we are going to we're going to get more regular. It's just these first few days it kind of snuck up, and I've had to be thrown straight into fire and learn a whole lot in a few days. So
we'll be taking our Metamucil here to get a little more regular. And I finished my last trip until my next trip, which is at it's like right at New Year's, so I'm here. We're locked in. Listen, I won the World Series just as much as the Dodgers. And Kevin, how you doing, man? We haven't seen you since the last time we saw you.
I'm good. Just hanging out. There's a lot less of me going on.
Chip Kelly got fired.
What's going on for me?
We don't need to dive too much into it.
I'm so glad my dad isn't alive to see the product of football the Raiders are putting out there on Sundays.
It's pretty bad.
It's embarrassing.
It's pretty bad. All right, enough burying the lead here. We're going to bury it more because we are eventually going to get to that mystery player and whatnot, but there are a couple of things that are part of the latest bits of Dodger news. More people can take some time to join us here in the live chat, but about an hour ago or so, Shohei Ohtani indirectly let it be known. I mean, he didn't outright say it, but he posted a bunch of pictures about the WBC and him being involved, and I think you could pretty much assume that means Shohei Ohtani will be participating in the WBC with Team Japan, which is mostly Team Dodgers, kind of, in a way. Not really surprising. Obviously, this is something that is massively important to the country of Japan. They're coming off of winning in 2026 as a team that is always just a mega powerhouse. The big question is whether or not he'll be pitching. He says he wants to pitch all of next year. The plan is to be built up. He's fully healthy. Jeff, what are your thoughts on Shohei participating in this in this for Japan, and should he pitch in this thing?
I think I'm at the point where I trust Shohei to do what's, if nothing else, he's given us 2 World Series titles in 2 years. And so he's earned some grace from us. Like, even if he goes out and hurts his arm, as long as it doesn't knock him out of hitting, the Dodgers will survive. But yeah, I think Ohtani is a competitive guy, which includes wanting to win a 3rd straight World Series. And so I don't think he's going to do anything stupid. And I trust him to, and I think he deserves to do what's best for him personally, and representing his country is very important to him. So I'm happy for the guy.
Kevin, any thoughts or difference of opinion on this?
If Baseball Jesus wants to pitch in the WBC, Baseball Jesus gets to pitch in the WBC. That's how this is going to go. I don't care if he does. The Dodgers have enough pitching with or without him. He's just earned every right to do basically whatever he wants, as long as it doesn't involve a poker table. So it's just let the guy live a little. And we know the WBC means a lot to him in general. Mm-hmm. So, and trust me, whatever he does at WBC is not going to take away from his desire to win another World Series.
Yeah, a couple people in the chat having some conversation about this. The Enigma, our friend, saying there's no universe where the Japanese players won't participate and won't be playing in the WBC. It means too much to them. You wonder also if Yamamoto will be in it. You assume yes. You also wonder, and to what capacity. Yama, there are a few people. David saying, I'm more worried about Yamamoto. I hope he doesn't participate. Alex saying, can Yamamoto take the WBC off? Because obviously he kind of literally put the Dodgers on, on his right arm during that World Series run. And maybe he could pitch like once or twice, like 3-inning bursts or something like that. I don't know. I do have a little bit of worry about him. Before I give you guys a platform to talk about Yamamoto, I also wonder if Roki's going to be involved in this thing. I would hope so. I think that would honestly be good for him to kind of build up and showcase his stuff a little bit more. Kevin, what do you think about the Yamamoto thing? Does that give you like a little bit of worry?
It
does for me.
The arm is just so finicky. It's different for everybody. Some guys can pitch, and it's better if they keep pitching. What
That's
some
fair.
people have said is tough on them is they build up to play these long seasons and then they just stop. So there's actually a ramp down period for a lot of pitchers as well. So I wouldn't hate it if Yamamoto, like you said or mentioned, like 3 innings, use that as like a pseudo spring training, a little bit, obviously a higher intensity spring training, but something along those lines. I wouldn't hate it. Again, you want to, we talked about trusting Shohei. I don't know. There might not be another guy on the team not named Shohei Ohtani that knows his body better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That dude spent so much time and put so much effort into making sure everything is just perfect. So if he's going to pitch in it, I trust him. I don't see why not.
Jeff, thoughts on that, or more so maybe even the Roki side of the conversation or the questions?
Yeah. On Yamamoto, he only threw 211 innings last year, counting the postseason.
Yeah.
And that's spread across more than 7 months.
I mean, that's a lot these days.
It is a lot, but, like people think, we're thinking about the fact that he threw 34 pitches the day after throwing 96 pitches. And for me, it's like, this dude just threw 34 pitches the day after throwing 96 pitches. He's going to be fine throwing a couple games in the World Baseball.
That is fair.
That's kind of my mindset, that 211 innings feels like a lot these days, but it's really not a lot, and especially when it's spread across that extra month. As for Roki, I agree with you 100% that get Roki in Team Japan's starting rotation to start figuring out how to be a starting pitcher at this level again, because the Dodgers need to figure out what his role is going to be at some point, and he's definitely going to start the season as a starting pitcher, and I think WBC is a great place for him to work on that.
I don't remember what, and Kevin, I'll give you a second to talk on Roki as well, but I don't remember. I know he was on. I think I know he was on Team Japan for 23. I don't remember him playing much of a major role. Obviously, he was a pup. Well, he was like 20 at that point or something like that. Kev, was he on that roster? Or
I Bleav he was on the roster, but I think the pitchers in that were like Shota Imanaga, Yoshinobu.
That's right. Shota, my dog.
Shota.
I love that.
Yeah, there were a lot of other pitchers that they were throwing out as opposed to Roki. I had more of a question. Which ball did they use? Did they switch?
Base.
Like the Japanese?
I
the
don't
Japanese
know.
team use the NPB ball, or will they use MLB balls?
To my knowledge, I think it's more of like a universal WBC ball that they all are throwing with, because I think that would make it fair. I don't know what the specs are on it because I never really thought about it, but that is a fair question. Jeff, you know things.
If they use an NPB ball, I honestly, if they're using an NPB ball, I almost don't want Roki pitching with that, because I think part of his problem is his adjustment period to MLB. That's Yoshinobu went through the same thing. So if the ball is smaller and it's tackier, I don't know if that helps Roki.
Jeff, did you Google balls for us?
No, I was Googling what he did in the WBC last time. He did make 2 starts, pitched a total of 7 2/3 innings, 11 strikeouts, 3.52 ERA. Nothing special, but
he was
medal.
a kid. He was but a young boy. Now he's a young man.
Now I'm going to Google about the balls, so you guys talk about some.
Okay, while you talk about balls or look into balls there, there's another one to quickly touch on. Bad segue when talking about coming from balls there, but Elisheva brings up another thing that's kind of sort of newsworthy that has happened since we've been away. Jack Dreyer got engaged, and old pal Gavin Lux got married. Also, I guess Ryan Ward got the all Dodgers bump because he worked up the courage to propose to his girlfriend as well. So he got engaged. Just worked out for everybody involved. I should though. I should have told Ryan Ward the number one cause of divorce is marriage. So next time.
Yeah, because that one's always that one's always great. Yeah,
yeah.
They do use Major League Baseballs in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay. I would definitely let Roki pitch, or he should pitch, because this will be an opportunity for him to build confidence and work on whatever he needs to work on, whether it be the continued development of his slider or if they gave him something closer to a cutter, or like a little more of a bullet slider. We'll see. But it's a good exhibition in terms of as it relates to MLB for Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, good stuff there. Drip Show with the $2 super chat. I think he appreciates your baseball Jesus. And baseball Jesus, we trust. Shohei, he can do some crazy things. The final thing before we get to the lead of this show, since we were last on, Evan Phillips was the lone guy not tendered a contract for the 2026 season. To me, it's somewhat shocking but not surprising, and understanding that they need a roster spot. What was your stance on the whole thing there, Hefe?
Yeah, I love Evan Phillips, so it's a bummer, but for me it wasn't even very surprising. The fact is he was getting arbitration doesn't care if you're hurt. Arbitration doesn't care about a lot of things. It says, how long have you been playing? How well have you played? Here's what you make. And so knowing that he's going to miss most of the season, it would have been silly for the Dodgers to pay him $6.5 million or whatever he was likely to make in arbitration. Of course, the flip side is $6.5 million is almost literal pocket change to the Dodgers. But that the way you get rich enough to own the Dodgers is by being smart with your money, and it sounds like there's a good chance Evan Phillips will be back. It sounds like maybe this was a preference of his. The things that Andrew Friedman said was that Evan Phillips and his family want to weigh their options and see where they're at and all of that. I do think he'll be back at some point with the Dodgers. I don't think it'll be as soon as a lot of people think in spring training. And part of that is just because interesting little roster rule is, people talk about, well, they can just re-sign him as soon as the 60-day IL is open up. But you have to have a roster spot to sign him. Then you can transfer him. And so the last couple of years, that line of thinking worked because, okay, we will transfer Tony Gonsolin to the 60-day IL to make room to re-sign Clayton Kershaw, or whatever it is. But the Dodgers don't have a lot of guys. Evan Phillips is their only guy who would have been expected to start next season on the 60-day IL. So obviously injuries can happen between now and then, but it's not like they can just sign him and put him on the 60-day. They would still have to make a roster spot for him. So it's not that easy. So they might have to wait until a little bit into the season when somebody else does get hurt and needs to go on the 60-day IL, because it will happen.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking on or continuing on that, adding on to that, Kevin, with our pal, the high leverage honey bun, it definitely felt like more of a roster issue than a money issue because, like Jeff said, $6 million, that's a drop in the pan, $6.5 million, just to have that second half of the season lottery ticket that is as good as Evan Phillips has been. That seems like a pretty easy, move to make. But even with that move, and also Dodgers non-tendering Nick Frasso, shocking that Bobby Miller still has a job to me as well. A little quasi surprising they did do something with Anthony Bonda personally. But it came down to roster spot and they roster space, and this is still only there's 37 players on the active roster now, or on the 40-man roster. Like
It's 30, I think it's 39.
No,
37.
36.
37.
After Phillips and Frasso were non-tendered.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. It feels like a roster thing more than the money thing to me.
Yeah, it definitely does. The spoiler alert: the Dodgers are not a dumb organization.
What?
And as we got through the 2025 season, the one thing that I think everybody felt was like, man, we could really use Evan Phillips right now. Like, we'd give all of us would have given him our right UCL to have him pitch in the playoffs because we needed a guy to get right-handed hitters out. Evan Phillips is that guy. He's just a really good relief pitcher. And don't think the Dodgers, if we felt it, the Dodgers did too. They're not going to just let somebody like that, who they have had the organization, who's had success with them, just walk away for nothing. It would not shock me if there is a handshake agreement somewhere along the lines, like, hey, we're going to shelf you for a little bit. When we have the opportunity, this is what we'll give you, or they've negotiated out terms. They just haven't put pen to paper yet. Cause like Jeff said, there are some roster moves that you can't just sign a guy and then like magically stash him somewhere. You have to have space for everything. And right now I think the Dodgers just want to make sure that if they sign somebody, or if they need to make a trade or something like that happens, that they don't need to panic move somebody off the 40-man roster, that they've just kind of given themselves as much space as possible. I would be absolutely floored if we do not see the Evan Phillips back with the Dodgers sometime in 2026. He, like you guys had mentioned, he will miss the majority of the season. So we probably won't see him on the major league roster until closer to September, but he'll be around. We have not seen the last of Philly and Dodger Blue.
Not to specifically single out and keep attacking him twice in one show, but I don't know. I feel like I prefer the ghost of Evan Phillips over Bobby Miller. And where are they?
If Bobby Miller can be a bullpen piece, though, if he makes a smooth transition into the bullpen, I mean, he's Evan Phillips, for lack of a better term, on steroids, because he can throw 100 miles an hour. He does have like a lot of secondary pitches that, if he magically lands, makes him a real threat out of the bullpen.
Give him one. Just find one. That's all the dude's got to do.
I'm
really hoping that boy is focused, and we should probably have a conversation at some point about some guys who could help the organization, could help out the major league roster in 2026. That sounds like something we'll do maybe over these next couple of weeks, since the Dodgers aren't giving us very much to talk about. But that's it for our news kind of section, a news update here. Now let's get into some rumor stuff. Before we do that, I should probably tell you folks about what's going on over at FanDuel. Not much change. It has dropped on the World Series odds, shockingly, as not much has happened. I really would have thought maybe there'd be a little bit of movement with the Mets making that kind of surprising move there to ship out Nimmo and bring in Marcus Semien. Good move for both sides in a way, but no, Mets are still plus 1,100, and the Dodgers are still favorites to win the 2026 World Series at plus 360. I was also looking to see how my Eagles are doing over on the football side of things after an ugly, embarrassing loss to the awful Cowboys on Sunday, and they are still I didn't look before, but they are plus 600 favorites for my Birds. A lot of your people's Rams are World Series Super Bowl favorites at plus 430. So go put a couple of bucks in all those teams, and then
what? Since Kevin's here, Kevin's here. You also ought to mention that the Chargers are minus 590 to beat the Raiders next week.
That's not a real line. Are they really?
Minus 590 to beat the Raiders next week.
So bad.
Boom. Roasted. Oh God. Anyways, shout out to FanDuel for bringing you.
Mark. Sell the team.
Man, do they need to sell that team. Shout out to FanDuel for presenting all Dodgers, and let's move on to the main topic here, our coup de grace, or what, I don't know. I'm going to stop saying dumbass words, but Kevin, I blew your lead here with putting that lower third on a little too early, but you've talked about a guy all offseason.
Here's a guy.
It's just less than a month old now. Here's a guy. You've talked about a dude that's your number one. You've kept it a secret until now. I blew your secret, but tell us about your number one and your why, and let's have a little bit of dialogue.
Yeah. So I want to just get ahead of this a little bit. This is
remember, this is the guy you have to hate.
It's true. This is given a very specific set of circumstances that I think bringing on third baseman Alex Bregman to the Dodgers makes a lot of sense. And the reason, the biggest one to me is I think Alex Bregman could actually be an answer at the top of the lineup to replace potentially Mookie Betts hitting second. Because Mookie, we know his offensive production has declined. It's been on the decline, especially his power numbers. These guys have very, very similar offensive profiles. Clint and we were talking about this before, but the one thing that while they have similar offensive profiles, Alex Bregman doesn't rely on his elite athleticism to get to those numbers. This is somebody who doesn't strike out a lot, doesn't chase a lot, doesn't whiff a lot, has really high bat to ball skills. That's granted playing in the Crawford boxes and with the Green Monster, but he's been able to do that. The eye stays no matter where you are, no matter what ballpark you're in. He has an elite eye. He puts the bat on the ball. He doesn't rely on elite athleticism like Mookie does. So as Mookie gets a little older, I worry about him hitting in the 2-hole. We had a whole season of it, and in the postseason, Mookie Betts still looked pretty bad for the most part. I think they walked Shohei 5 times intentionally and put Mookie up there, and Mookie did not come through, even though he generally has before. Again, people also need to get over the 2019 or 2017 Astros thing. Bregman was a rookie. That was his first full season as an Astro that year. Guess what? He definitely had very little, if no say at all, on the cheating scandal in that instance. The other piece of it is, the final 2 pieces of it are really the third base piece of it all. You put him at third base, move Max to second base, platoon him there with either Kike or Rojas, depending on who they bring back. If not both of them, not sure. It also allows them to try out a couple of guys in the outfield, mainly Ha-Seong Kim, if they want to try him at center field, or Dalton Rushing in left if they want to get really frisky with it. It allows them to try out a few of the younger names, so they get a little younger while also getting a little older at the same time. This is all until Tommy Edman eventually comes back, and because if neither of those guys have it, they just stick Tommy Edman in center field and go say, go ahead, go do your thing. And the last piece of it is Bregman is projected to get anywhere from a 3 to 6 year contract worth, anywhere from 30 to 35 mil a year. He walked away from 2 years at 80 million.
I know, it's insane.
It's insane, but there were so many deferrals. Granted, guess what? Other teams can defer money too. That in present day value, it was closer to $31 million a year. So I just don't see him getting that big of a contract from other teams. He's coming off another quad injury. He played, I believe, 140 or 114 games last year. 114 games played last year. He was bad down the stretch, again, probably because of that quad injury. I don't know if there are many teams that are going to commit to him for that long. And this seems like a guy that the Dodgers just swoop in and go, hey, we'll give you 2 years, 80 million if you want it, and just come play with us. We can do a contract opt, or we could do a player opt out for the 3rd year and just see what happens on something short-term, high AAV. So I just think in those specific set of circumstances, short-term, high AAV, you get to try out Kim and Rushing in the outfield, and you potentially have somebody to hit behind Shohei, because we don't know what Mookie Betts is going to look like next year. I had every hope in the world that Mookie would turn it around as we got down towards the end of the season, but the postseason kind of really made me worry about what Mookie might look like next year. Granted, this is Mookie Betts. I don't doubt the guy, but I do have a little bit more worry than I have had in the past. So Bregman kind of fits all of those holes a little bit for me. And I mean, it's money. It's just money to this team. So if you could sign Bregman, you could also just go sign an outfielder too. You could do both.
Well, it's also a little bit of a PR hit there. And obviously we have a lot of things to dive in on this. To the Mookie thing, just to quickly nip that in the bud, he did turn it on, later in the season, and then was good to start the postseason before he just majorly faded out. But Jeff, I want you to respond to the Bregman conversation, and then I have my thoughts, and then the chat already.
Oh, they hate it. I told everybody I'd piss them off.
This was an unpopular opinion.
Yes,
but I see angles of it for sure. David would take me playing third base over Bregman. Now I got bad reaction time. Good hands, bad reaction time. What do you got for us, Jeff?
I would like to congratulate the 216 people who were here live to see Kevin's last episode of All Dodgers. Perhaps his last day on Earth, if anybody in the chat finds out where he lives.
I know where I live.
So we always just say somewhere in Illinois,
Yeah.
But purely from a baseball standpoint, I think the idea of Max Muncy playing second base is insane. Max Muncy was a passable second baseman when they had the shift. I think Max Muncy would
That's a
be
fair point.
the worst defensive second baseman in baseball. I would rather have Alex Bregman playing second base than Max Muncy. But if we're talking about that, I'd rather have Bo Bichette than Alex Bregman because all the same things, bat the ball, contact without the stigma of being a cheater. And I've made the point. I agree for the most part that of all the 2017 Astros, Alex Bregman is one that I have an easier time forgiving because he was a rookie. It was kind of rough timing for him because by the time we found out they had cheated, he was a team leader. So he's the one who had to stand up there and give a fake apology in spring training. But I blame a lot of people more than I blame Bregman.
Same, yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that, like, for me, the pros of Alex Bregman, the dude can hit, don't make up for the major con. Yeah, don't make up for the major con of he was on. Yeah, he did win last year, the Gold Glove. Wouldn't say he necessarily, there's a difference between winning a Gold Glove and being the best defensive third baseman in the league. But I just don't think it makes up for the PR hit, like you said, Clint, when there are other options available. Now, if Max Muncy gets hurt and Bo Bichette signs somewhere else and, this and that, there is a set of circumstances where I would be okay with it, but none of those are anywhere close enough to happening that I would say I am in favor of the Dodgers signing Alex Bregman. I don't think I hate Kevin as much as everybody in the chat does for this reason. I hate him a lot for other reasons. But yeah, I'm it's a no for me, dog, as Randy Jackson would say.
Yeah. I appreciate Kevin even bringing it up because I have brought up these type of very unpopular opinions before. I was somebody who a couple of years back was an advocate for Carlos Correa, who was probably the worst of all of them. Not necessarily, I don't know if he was worst benefiting from the cheating, but he was the most prickish out of all of those Astros. Because he knew the facts as where nobody else knew the facts. So, guys, be fair to Kevin. Hit that thumbs up button so he knows that you hate him or however that goes. But from a baseball standpoint, you mentioned Bo Bichette. There's no saying that if there is a different position player to be signed, there's no saying that he's interested in signing a deal to be a third baseman. I'll leave that Bo Bichette part there until we talk
about second baseman.
Yeah, sorry. Well, what I'm getting
in the
at
World
is
Series, he was a second baseman.
What I'm getting at is, I like Bregman. I like the idea of an Alex Bregman signing, or at least a player of that ilk, as a third baseman because Max Muncy is the now. He is not the future, and I don't trust any other 3Bs in the organization to come up and figure it out. Alex Freeland had earned like zero. I can't think of the right word here. I don't have a lot of faith in Alex Freeland to be the future of something. Maybe it was just a really, really bad showing, but there is an expiration date when it comes to Max Muncy at third base, and it could be coming soon. There was an expiration date with Justin Turner. We saw that. We lived that. By the numbers, there's a lot of very solid things to like with Bregman. Again, putting aside the history and all of that, dude has had some very, very good seasons over his career. He is a run producer. He doesn't put up gaudy numbers, but he doesn't have to. If you're talking about somebody being a 2-hitter, a 5-hitter, a 6-hitter, he can kind of slot around, move around, and I think be pretty dang good at the job. It also seemingly appears like he would not be looking for or able to secure an extremely long or not long, but large contract, because if he's turning down $40 million, he messed up there. He's not going to match that type of, obviously, Kevin points out the AAV and all that kind of stuff with the deferrals, but still it's $41 million somewhere, somehow, some way. I've seen some of the projections saying like as low as 5 years, 150 million. That's what I think 30 million AAV. And there's going to be some deferrals in whatever the next contract is. I've seen other people saying 6 years, 174, maybe as high as 7 years. I don't think he would go for a short-term deal. I don't think it'd be like a 2 or 3 year deal like you're saying, Kevin. He's going for years. You opt out so you can get security and hopefully be in one more spot for the rest of your career. Age. Let's talk about the age for a second. It's just a number. Or is it just a number? He's 32 in March. I agree with the idea that his body, his frame seems like it could carry into having him play pretty good third base and hit pretty well. I mean, the strikeouts have never really been a problem for him. He could probably last playing the position to 37, 38 and playing it pretty well. But again, the big thing is the baggage, the cheating or the proximity to it. As you said, he was in his second year, first full season as a big leaguer when that thing happened. He's probably not going to speak up against his his bench coach, Alex Cora, or, a 15-year big league veteran with like Carlos Beltran. So I could understand him not really trying to be a voice to say like, come on, gang, let's play the game the right way. So all that to say, the thing I would be okay with Bregman is the fact that he's kind of a third baseman of the future, is something this team needs. Now, is he the third baseman of the future? I probably don't think so. That's all I got.
So I also arrived to this idea, as unpopular as it might be, because I'm not sold on Bo Bichette at all. He had a 2024. Well, first of all, he's also very injury prone. He's also had multiple lower leg injuries or lower body injuries. This year he had a calf injury. I think that's the second time he's had a calf injury. He's had some lower body stuff. He had a 598 OPS. Again, part of that was in 2024. Part of that probably had to do with the injury as well. Generally very good hitter, but that just really concerns me what the body might look like. He feels like an old 27 at this point with the injuries. And then on top of that, he already graded out as like one of the worst defensive shortstops. I know he flashed and looked really good in the World Series at second base. We have no idea if that sticks. I mean, for all intents and purposes, short or second base is easier to play than shortstop. But we don't know. That's the thing. And so I don't know if I'm all that excited on committing to somebody long-term where his defensive position, you don't know if he can play it competently. And I was just, the 2024 offensive profile was like, he forgot how to hit. Yeah. Like, he was really bad. So I just didn't see a lot of right-handed hitting infielders that I liked. Bregman just kind of was, okay, he plays a good third base. He'll continue most likely to play a good third base. And if Mookie keeps declining, you could slot Bregman into this 2-hole and you'd be completely fine with that, because the offensive profile for Bregman, if you go through a StatCast page, literally has not changed. It looks almost identical from now to 3 years ago. Mookie Betts looks entirely different. So we just don't know what Mookie's going to look like. And I just want a little bit more insurance in case Mookie can't rebound from.
I think he'll rebound. I think last year
believe he can. I just
really hoping last year was an outlier.
So the way I look at players as they get older is it's just the margin of error and their ability to come back from smaller nicks and injuries. It goes down and more. So I would just want something a little bit better of an insurance policy, and Bregman fits that mold pretty well for me.
And that's what I view him as well. Like the insurance policy and again, there aren't really any other third basemen that I terribly like. Before we touch on more of those, and we got super chats and all that, Jeff, a time to comment further.
No, mostly I just wanted you to let the people who want to pay us money to say how dumb Kevin is get some of those, especially Richie's, because I could kill a bowl of Fruity Pebbles right now.
What are we talking about? I see. Richie with the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Richie saying, might as well sign the serial killer. Seek professional help at once, Kevin. He's a punk. What? Tatis is not available? How about Manny? Hey, listen. Kevin has mentioned Fernando Tatis. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
If the Padres want to blow it up and give the Dodgers Fernando Tatis Jr., I won't say no.
I'm on board with Tatis all day long.
I'm the opposite, because at least Bregman has exercised some sort of character, as where Tatis has always been a little bitch. And he just does whatever Manny does. One cheated with and then lied about it. The other one cheated, or at least was part of the
I shouldn't say,
team.
although for me the steroid thing is the one issue I have with Tatis. Both of those guys, Bregman and Tatis, are both guys. If you take the cheating away from both of them, they're both guys who you love when they're on your team and you hate when they're on the other team. And if neither of them were cheaters, I'd be fine loving either of them. The fact that they're both cheaters. Tatis is younger. He's the best defensive right fielder in baseball. There's a lot of things to like about Tatis other than him being a little B word, like Clint said. And
Bitch. I helped.
Yeah, I know what the B word is.
Yeah, I just
don't
wanted to make
say
sure.
it.
So,
yeah.
Listen.
What is it again?
Hashtag free Clint.
Hashtag Tatis is a B word.
There's a new shirt.
And
put
cheating,
that on guard. Yeah. Again, that for me, all of the antics, we will call it, with Fernando Tatis Jr. makes him a just worse baseball human than Alex Bregman. Bregman has always seemed to exemplify a leader and a good dude who maybe was at the wrong place at the wrong time with a bunch of cheating veterans in 2017. Maybe. I don't know. That's just my kind of take.
A lot of clubhouse reports will say that Bregman is a bona fide. He's just a ball player. He's a real leader.
He's a guy who's a dude.
Yeah, if you just actually type his name in and read a couple articles, everybody speaks really highly of him in a clubhouse culture. Mm-hmm. Also, to the 2017 thing, it's not forgivable, but also the Dodgers have won 3 World Series since then. So I'm more over it now than I've ever been at this point. So I'm they got the real one.
There's definitely a part of me that thinks, well, these guys are still playing baseball, and if they can help you win. And there was a super chat from Enigma saying, I wouldn't go as far as saying that I'd sign Satan if he would help the team win. First of all, I doubt that Satan's a very good baseball player.
Doesn't strike me as one.
Yeah,
but
cricket maybe
on this. I imagine Satan being that SNL skit with Will Ferrell, where I think it's Will Ferrell playing Satan. He's like, his guitar was forged out of bones and actually it's a Fender. That's how I imagine Satan. Anyway, so back to the Enigma super chat.
Yeah, and so he said, I can't see it because my camera's in the way.
Says, I care more about the team than the personalities. I don't hate the idea, and I'm 21 years old. I grew up with the 2017 team, but we need more offense. It gives you offense, gives you defense, gives you a little longevity.
And so I guess, and my point was, since Bregman's going to play for somebody, if he can help a team win, I would like it to be the Dodgers, but that's the rational part of me, and that doesn't win when it comes to Bregman. There's too many other possibilities. That's the thing. I'm not saying never Bregman, hashtag never Bregman, but I would say hashtag Bregman as a last resort, and hashtag we're not anywhere near the last resort. And with the Dodgers farm system, we may never be near the last resort enough for me to be okay with Bregman.
The dude's probably never going to be more available than he is right now, just to throw that out there. A couple more super chats here from Nicole Taylor. We got $1.99. Says, dumpster fire take for Kevin. He is a cheater. Hashtag never Bregman. And also Raul.
Not a cheater.
Well, yeah, we don't know that. We don't know what you do at night. Raul with the $1.99 super chat says, Kevin, bad take with the giant colored Dodger hat. That is not orange. It's more of like a salmon.
Yeah, it's like a
Sam-ish.
So
I guess
like on Friends.
This is black. The LA is black. So
when Ross is looking for a shirt on Friends, he's like, "Has anybody seen my salmon shirt?" And they say, "Oh, your pink shirt."
Sam-ish.
I said pink in the chat. Clint went with salmon. So Clint with the bad takes today.
That's a bad take. Man, somebody told me on DT I had bad jokes, and I don't disagree, but it's a mean thing to say. So if not Bregman, again, I'm centering this on and focusing this on not necessarily improvement at third base, but longevity at third base, because I love Max. He is a top third baseman, top 8, 10 third baseman in baseball when healthy. I don't know. We could have an argument about that, but I do think that we are nearing the end of him being in that kind of prime window of being able to still kind of, pick a ball and throw it across the diamond. Takes a lot of work for him to be good at third base. And thankfully for him, when he puts in work at a position, he becomes very good, to at least serviceable to very good at the position. But he too has health issues, and he is 35 in 2026.
He's 30. He just turned 35.
Okay, so
in August.
So he's playing most of that year in 35 and then turns 36. He does not have very much longer to be an everyday 3B for the Dodgers. And, you look at somebody like another one of the 3Bs on the market, Gino Suarez. Eugenio Suarez is 34. He has a bunch of strikeout in his game. He has a bunch of kind of ups and downs, it feels like, defensively and offensively. Not that I've watched a lot of Eugenio Suarez, but for me, I feel like stick with Muncy at that point. The other guy, Munetaka Murakami, who's a free agent. Yeah, he seems like he's got some kind of holes in his game that probably would be amplified as a big leaguer. And then like Bo Bichette, if we're talking about Bo Bichette, I would rather try to sign him to be a third baseman and see how that goes, rather than second base, because you don't need range at third base. You just need to have glove and arm. And
I don't think Bo Bichette has much of an arm. He doesn't.
I saw he had
46 percentile.
Bad joke. That's a bad joke.
46 percentile. It's nothing to write home about. The thing with Max Muncy too is not only is there the health component, his platoon splits are getting kind of drastic. Last year was really bad. Like he was really
did
bad
hit a hot streak in like before the knee injury where he was actually crushing lefties at a pretty decent clip.
He ended the year with, I think it was like a 500 OPS again. Yeah, 564 OPS against left-handed pitching. 2024, it wasn't as bad. 2023, it was bad again. Like it was more than a 200-point difference in OPS, depending on the handedness of the pitcher. So I just think with the health and his, likely he should just be in against right-handed pitching, which is a good thing. You face more right-handed pitchers than you do left-handed pitchers. I just think there should be a little bit more, again, insurance policy at the position as well. Mm-hmm. It's just, like you mentioned, he's 35. He'll be 36 next year. Max Muncy, we know how valuable he is. Literally, there was a run difference when he was in the lineup versus not in the lineup, and that was with his drastic splits. So I'm not talking bad about Max Muncy, but we have to face the reality of if this team wants to three-peat, they need to make
no, if this team wants to 4-peat or 5-peat, that's kind of more what I'm looking at.
But the team is getting a lot older, so they need to. It's not so much about getting better on the edges either. They kind of need to shore up some of the deficiencies that we could see quickly arise.
To the I got this one for Jeff. To the splits issue with Max Muncy, I know what Jeff wants. He wants the Dodgers to finally go out and get Nolan Arenado by Christmas, put him in a platoon with Max Muncy.
Oh my God!
Bob's Kevin's
so
uncle.
Far away from me.
and I just broke Jeff's spirit.
Talking about a guy.
You don't have to say every stupid thing that comes into your head, Clint.
Yes, I do. So it makes the show fun for me.
Hey, make that divorce joke again.
Thoughts on what we've said now since the last time you talked, Jeff?
No, I agree that there needs to be a plan for Muncy in the future. I agree that Muncy isn't probably going to play a bunch against lefties next year. And, Bo Bichette, possibility, other possibilities. I think that the Dodgers, as we've talked about I think they're more likely to play a lot in the trade market than the free agent market. I think third base could be a thing there too, not Nolan Arenado. But,
very clear
potentially some other options. And I'm not throwing out names right now, but I'm just saying, I think there's a good chance that the guy who gets some of that playing time next year is a guy none of us have even talked about yet. And
Alex Call.
I do think
just for free agency, by the way,
if the three of us know that Max Muncy is bad against lefties and getting older, imagine what Andrew Friedman and Brandon Gomes know, because they are a million times smarter than all of us combined.
Wait, Andrew Friedman.
Well,
the
now
guy,
they're
the guy
now
from the
they're
Lakers front office.
yeah. Now he's with the Lakers front office. How much could he really know about this team?
I'm just saying, Rob Pelinka is going to pull off a big trade for the Dodgers.
Let's go.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Did I do it right?
Listen, big time basketball guy. Big time basketball guy. Getting back into some of the super chats and then more chat. And Jeff, also, I want you to think on this one. Do you have a player that maybe makes sense, but that would come with pitchforks and torches from the fans? Stew on that for a second while we go through super chats. The Enigma also had another $4.99 super chat, agreeing with Kevin that they do need to start planning for the Mookie's decline angle of it. Father Time is undefeated. I'm chalking up last year, and knock on desk, fingers crossed, everything crossed that I can, that last year was just a bad year for myriad reasons, as Jeff might point out, because of health, because of learning a new position, building bad habits because of being unhealthy. I'm really hoping that Mookie will be back to being something closer to the Mookie of old, the Mookie that we saw in, kind of, I think it was most of August into September. Dude can still be a dog. And $5 from JY Kim. Thank you very much, JY Kim, saying, sounds like the team needs to find a young, talented hitter without the taint of cheating. Who does serial killing? Who does serial killing in the spare time? When the milk is good in the fridge, this guy.
It's all bad. It's all bad.
Thank you. Yeah. But listen, I have the button, so I can. I mean, it's really working out here for me. I'm just saying. Yeah, I don't know where else to go with this. Again, it's not out of all the ideas, it is one of them. I doubt the Dodgers are looking at Bregman. I
give it less than a 1% chance. This is
for me. What it comes down to is this Dodgers team. While they are the villain of Major League Baseball, they are also, objectively speaking, one of the most likable teams in the world. Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, extremely likable. Teoscar Hernandez, extremely likable as long as you don't want him to be making a play in right field. Like the closest they have, like I can understand somebody who doesn't like the Dodgers not liking Max Muncy because Muncy kind of leans into that. That's kind of his persona, but he doesn't come anywhere near the level of a Tatis or a Bregman of that, leaning into being the villain. The Dodgers are a very likable team. Like I guess you could say Blake Snell is a guy who probably none of us really liked him when he was on another team. Tyler Glasnow is pretty darn likable. Yamamoto, extremely likable. They just are a very likable team, and I don't see them screwing that up by going after somebody like Alex Bregman and saying somebody like Alex Bregman, specifically Alex Bregman.
I mean, they signed Josh Reddick.
It's not like there's 10 different third basemen on the free agent market who cheated to beat the Dodgers in 2017.
Yeah,
I will say Kyle Schwarber is built like a third baseman.
Can he play third base?
No, he can't play anywhere. No.
Yeah,
Clint wanted me to say something that sounded like a bad idea, so that was the best I could come up.
It was more of like an enemy type of player, I think.
Yeah, and I thought about that. And that's kind of why I got on that tangent of the Dodgers aren't interested in having. They want to be the villain because they win, not because they're a bunch of a-holes.
I mean, they were open to a villain in the 2020-2021 offseason, and they got him. And then he proved to be a massive mistake of a signing, that being Trevor Bauer. But probably learned from that because there were a lot of headlines that followed him. Not to say there are headlines that have really followed Bregman, but again, like Kevin said, less than 1% chance that they're actively looking at something like that. And as we've stated a number of times over this offseason, they're most likely not going to be super busy or super active in the free agent side of things. It's going to be a trade. Jeff, you mentioned like a trade for a 3B or something like that. I don't know who's out there. I haven't paid attention to a lot of the younger third basemen in the league, but is Alec
I really
Bones,
wish I
Bones
thought Murakami. I wish I thought Murakami was going to be a good big league hitter because obviously I like the idea of all the Japanese stuff, but a whole bunch of stuff about him worries me, and he's left-handed, so it's not like you could even just platoon him with Muncy, so it's
I know that he was somebody that like I was super excited for in 24. I was saying back then, I was like, hey, like let's get ready for Murakami, and it all fell off really hard, really fast.
By the way, I mentioned Alec Boehm for a second. I'm not saying I want the Dodgers to pursue him. I take Max Muncy over Alec Boehm. I take Max Muncy over Geno Suarez. I take him over Murakami. I think there's a conversation if there was a Bichette scenario where he can come in and then play some second base for a season or two and then move to third base or whatever. This is just being creative. Beverly's not entirely happy with the show, by the way, asking, did you three guys wake up on the wrong side of the bed today? Most of us are still celebrating the World Series win. The show tonight is both annoying and depressing. And I'll say on this is partly why, like, I hate just doing random content. This I enjoy. I really enjoy this kind of conversation, but doing like what feels to me like forced content because like, oh, we have this thing where we're trying to go live every day or whatever. Then you get to the people who have an issue with the show stand out to me more than the people who are enjoying that show. And that's why I'll never be somebody who, like you, Kevin, last week when the Corey Seager thing that was not a thing happened, like I was Jeff and pissed about that text just because, not because of you, but because of the idea that like, oh, we feel that need to have to do content. No. I don't want to talk about Corey Seager because it's not a realistic thing. Now, that said, I talked about it on Dodgers Territory today, but with that angle of why do we need to talk about every dumb little thing that happens? But this is a potential need for the Dodgers, and it's a free agent. It is a reality, and there's no other news happening. So if you want us
you heard it here first, folks. Corey Seager, Dodgers starting third baseman 2026.
They did trade Simeon for,
and that's it. They traded Simeon, even though they added money. They added money with Brandon Nimmo, and they also cut money with Jonah Heim and more so Adolis Garcia. Anyways,
maybe the Seager moves coming.
So yeah, that's
Adolis Garcia is so bad. Like
not good. Somebody mentioned it. It's like wild. We should sign Adolis. Like it was like last week. They're like, we should sign Adolis Garcia. I was like, have you looked at that guy's numbers? Like at all?
He did learn how to play defense this year, which was weird. He's always had a good arm, but he actually was a good defender in right field this year. But I mean, this dude.
So all of his offensive power went to Trent Grisham, and Trent Grisham's defense was in Garcia.
Yeah, maybe. Even when he had power, like he's had one excellent offensive season, and even that, like that year, he had a 27.7% strikeout rate, which like.
I had this on DT earlier, just the insane fall off. And I absolutely do not take a flyer on that dude. I would rather see
not a chance.
I would rather see what Wardo can do in left field, or Dalton Rushing, or Hesong Kim, or Kevin Skinner can do in left field before they went out and signed Adolis Garcia III.
All right, here's a question, Clint.
All right.
If you had to choose between Alex Bregman or Adolis Garcia, who are you choosing?
Alex Bregman. Easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
I
think I'd go Garcia and then just DFA him. Like, hey, I fit the technicality of the question by signing Garcia, and now I'm going to DFA him and get back to real life because, yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of reasons where, as a baseball player, Alex Bregman makes a ton of sense for the Dodgers.
Hey, Beverly Benton just said we should talk about Ohtani pitching in the WBC.
We did that.
Maybe Beverly's biggest issue with this episode is that she showed up late.
You got to hit that notification bell, all that kind of stuff, Beverly. And also, admittedly, we have been inconsistent with our days and uploads and times as we're trying to figure some things out, which is one of the things we were said as we get towards ending the show here. We'll hang out with the chat for a little bit more and then try to kind of come up with some semblance of an idea of what our schedule is going to look like in the off season. When there's news to talk about, when there's breaking news, we will be live that day. That's 100% going to happen. However soon we are able to go after like news or rumor drops, that will always be the plan. But otherwise, having regular content moving forward, we should be able to start having our Saturdays back, much to the enjoyment of Richie. We will have Saturdays back, and that will be our usual, all Dodgers After Dark in the morning with coffee and me. And if Kevin's able to hang out and join, I don't know if he's still doing tennis, but we will have Saturdays back and Sundays with Jeff. Steph, maybe sometimes me, but I think it'll be important having, kind of our different styles that way. And then, having 2 days dedicated to that, another day with the both of us and another day at the bare minimum of all three of us. That's kind of the goal. That's the hope for this offseason. Really, really hoping that the Dodgers start making some moves. That would be a lot of fun. But, yeah, we appreciate you guys being here with us, wanting the people who do want more of us. We appreciate that. It means a lot. Sometimes it's hard.
And
to
I
find
will
time.
add, I think this is the only episode we will do this offseason that was designed to make people angry.
This is true.
Kevin really wanted to make people angry. Kevin has been
a little bit
like just giddy about telling people how much he wants to have Alex Bregman's babies, and that was. It was important that we get this out of the way, so that we can get back to realistic possibilities now. But yeah, this episode, most of them won't be like this. But I think this one was good anyway.
Yeah,
I said a lot of good things.
It's a solid conversation. I agree.
I think a byproduct of this show, while having an inflammatory base, is that you identify problems that this team will actually face in the coming seasons, and what solutions could and should look like from a baseball player perspective. Just take the name and past the history away from it for their
so our takeaway from today is that Kevin is better at identifying potential problems than identifying potential solutions.
Yep, proud of you. We're proud of you.
If he wasn't on the Astros, he'd be a great solution. I want to hear it.
Even being on the Astros, he was
if
a great.
If Frog had wheels, he wouldn't bump his A hopping.
Yeah. My grandma had wheels, she'd be a bike.
I don't know.
What the hell was I going to say? I was going to say something that had words and involved what we were talking about here. I mean, what we did here was point out right now, this offseason, it's an outfielder and maybe one or two right-handed relievers. But down the pipeline, Dodgers are approaching some issues. Maybe if Mookie does not bounce back, what do they do with Mookie Betts? What's the long-term plan at third base for this team? Again, if you're trying to find a way to win 4 in a row or 5 in a row or 10 in a row, they're going to need to continue to keep getting better. And the pipeline doesn't have anybody. Like I saw somebody kind of defending where the Dodgers minor league system is at right now, saying that it's still very good. I disagree. I think it was Mike Salas on Twitter. I disagree. I don't think it has the level of talent that we've seen in years past. There are names that if you are a prospect dude and you know these guys, sometimes you know these guys personally, then yes, they are very good prospects. But otherwise,
it's heavy on the pitching side. There's not
it's heavy on the outfield side. Yeah.
And the outfield. There's just no infield.
And that's more the issue is that they have an upcoming need. They have upcoming needs in the infield and not a lot of obvious ways to fill those holes from within the organization. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think, hey, we've got 5 really good outfield prospects. Guess what? Even if they all pan out, you're not going to need 5 outfielders. That hashtag math, baby.
No, we can get a rover. We'll be good. There's at least 4.
Yeah, no. Still not 5.
Yeah.
I reiterate, hashtag math, baby. So yeah, that
and
the whole point of having a great farm system, whether Clint thinks it's great or not, is right now to fill the holes you have with some of those prospects.
Yeah,
by trading.
By the way, I appreciate this from our friend IB Strokin saying, howdy chat, wanted to discuss Kevin's ridiculous Bregman take. Join us over on the Discord server. We do have a Discord server we have not mentioned today, guys. If you want to check it out, sign up on Patreon, patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube. It's $5 a month to join us. You just directly support the show doing that, but also with that, you get access to our Discord server where people are having conversations about the Dodgers all day long, all year long, all week long, all of those type of things. So check it out if you don't mind. That's the end of that part of the show.
Yeah. Don't expect Kevin to reply to you though if you talk about his Bregman idea, because his access to the Discord has been revoked.
He's gonna go in the corner and cry. He's just gonna go cuddle his dog, but the dog's gonna be like, "Oh, I hear that was a rough take."
God, you are just on one today.
His dog's name is Ian Happ Alex Bregman.
Because he's a big
Yeah,
time
actually,
Cubs
I
fan.
did want to trade for Ian Happ
Because he loves the Cubs and he loves
did.
Alex Bregman.
I do remember that. The final one I'll have quickly. I think we already know the answer. Swelling Sausage asked Seager or Bregman? Seager, third base. Seager all day.
Not close.
I'll
take the back 4 years of that contract, whatever the heck it is. But it's just, what do you do with the number? And like, I don't know. If I see Corey Seager in a Dodgers uniform not wearing 5, that's just gonna look so weird to me. I don't know if I can get over that.
Jeff, a final one for you. So we'll see Kevin again.
I won't.
On that note,
my eyes anytime he's on the show.
I'll put a bag over my head.
On that note, he's gone. On that note, guys, we appreciate you hanging out with us here on this edition of the Alex Bregman podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for indulging Kevin and this weird addition to the show.
Terrible
Richie says
idea.
F Seager. I'm shocked that Richie's not in on Seager, but that sounds like a conversation he could have on Saturday when I am back. I don't know what we're doing the rest of this week. Everybody, if we're not back, enjoy your Thanksgiving. That's an important thing, I think. Like the show, subscribe. Yeah. That goes a long way in helping us out. Do that Patreon thing if you want. Do the YouTube members if you want. Thank you to FanDuel for presenting the show. Thank you to Bleav Network for having us on the network for now. And that's about it. We'll see you on the next one. And let's hope the outro is still there.